just wanted to say hi. He likes sitting on my lap, so we're going to be working in our Journey's Close Reader again. Okay, you're going to get down. We're going to turn to the table of contents, so you'll need a pencil. Yesterday we did water. Today we're going to be, this is my favorite one, it's about the rainforest. Lesson 12 is the rainforest. It's an informational text again, so it's going to be teaching us real information about the rainforest. And this lesson starts on page 44. So we're going to find page 44. We'll go past yesterday's lesson. And here's the rainforest. Now I see lots of animals in the rainforest up here, and they're going to tell us about them. The background information says rainforests are very important to our world. They store water and help clean our air. Many different kinds of plants and animals live there too. So I can see lots of animals in the rainforest down here. Our setting of purpose says we're going to read to find out what you might see in the different parts of a rainforest. Did you know that there's many different layers in a rainforest? This looks like a top layer because these animals are up in the top of the tree. We're going to find out what that layer is called in a minute. Okay, so we're going to turn to the next page. It says on number 1, read, and we're going to underline the sentence that tells what the weather is like in a rainforest. So I'm going to grab my marker, and the first sentence says, a rainforest is a very wet and warm place. That sentence tells me what the weather's like. So I'm going to underline a rainforest is a very wet and warm place. Oh, that's how it gets its name, the rainforest, because there's lots of rain. Okay, I'm going to continue reading. It says rainforests have layers. Each layer has its own animals that live in it. So if you look, see this dark black word? This is the first layer of the rainforest. It's called the canopy layer. And it's the tops of trees poking out above the forest form this layer. The tree leaves and branches keep most sunlight off the layers below. Eagles, sloths, and monkeys live here. So if I go back and look at this picture, this is the canopy layer because it's the top of the trees. And here's some of the animals it talks about. A sloth is this animal right here. Then we have a monkey. And then we have an eagle. And then we have a pretty bird down here. So these are some of the things that live in the canopy layer. Okay, we're going to read number 2 at the bottom. It says, reread page 45. What animals live in the canopy layer? So I'll go back, and if I went back and read up here in the canopy layer, I'm going to go down here to where I see the animals. This very last sentence tells me the animals that live there. It says eagles, sloths, and monkeys live here. So I basically copied that down, and I believe Miss Donahue talked last week about commas. Whenever we have more than 2 things in a row, or 2 items, like I have 3 animals in a row, we have to separate those with a comma. So I wrote eagles, sloths, and monkeys live in the canopy layer. Because remember, we call this very top layer, the top of the trees, the canopy layer of the rainforest. Oh, I'll move that a little closer. You might have to pause your video, but remember, as you write it, today you're going to begin your sentence with a capital, but we also have to add our commas to separate our 3 animals. And when you're done, you'll put a period at the end. I have lots of animals roaming around here. Bear's over there on the couch making noise. And the cat was meowing. I don't know if y'all heard that a while ago, but I have a cat. And she was meowing. They must hear me talking about animals. Okay. When you're done, you may turn to the next page. The top says, we're going to read, and it says, what animals live in the understory layer? Ooh, we're going to have to circle their names. Oh, and if I look, do you see in dark black it says understory layer? This is the next layer of the rainforest. So as I read, I'm going to get out my pen, and it wants me to circle the names of the animals that live in this layer. Okay, so we're going to read it. You may point and follow along. It says understory layer. This layer is above the ground. It is shady. Young trees and bushes grow here. Ooh, it's going to tell me what animals live there. I'm going to circle them as I read them. It says frogs. Ooh, that's not a very good circle. Birds. And snakes live here. Oh, so those are 3 animals that can live in the understory layer. And remember, this layer is right above the ground. It's not the top of the trees, that's the canopy. It's kind of in the middle of the rainforest before you get to the ground. Okay, then the last layer they're going to talk about is called the forest floor. It says, not much sunlight reaches this layer. Tapirs, jaguars, and beetles live on the brown forest floor. Ooh, Declan a while ago told me bear reminded him of a jaguar. What'd you say, Declan? Because he's what?
He has sharp teeth and can be mean.
He has sharp teeth and he likes to play and bite. So he is kind of like a jaguar. Okay, I'm going to keep reading. It says ants and giant anteaters also live there. Oh, so anteaters live on the forest floor, and they like to, I'm sure y'all know what they eat. They eat ants with their long tongues. Anteaters have been known to eat 30,000 insects in one single day. Oh, they can eat over 30,000 ants in one day. I wish I had an anteater around here. When I went out in my yard yesterday, I saw some ants and some ant hills, and they were all over the yard. Okay, so we're going to go down to the bottom. It says to reread our page. Which layer of the rainforest is the darkest? Oh, so we're going to write it below. We only had 2 layers on this page. We had the understory layer and the forest floor. Which one of those do you think was the darkest? If I go back and read, the understory layer said this layer is above the ground and it is shady. So shady means a little bit dark. But if I read the forest floor again, it says not much sunlight reaches this layer. Oh, so if not much sunlight reaches it, that means the forest floor would be the darkest layer. So I went ahead and made a sentence down here that says, the forest floor is the darkest. And you can go ahead and write it down. Don't forget your capital at the beginning and your period at the end. So if you think about it, since the trees in the rainforest are so tall, as you get closer to the ground, it's darker because the sunlight can't reach that far down through the trees. So it's dark on the forest floor. Okay, the last page looks like this. The top says we're going to read and circle the name of the place the map key helps you to find on the map. Oh, we did a map key yesterday, a week or so ago, when I read the zoo story. Remember we had the map key with the animals? Well, this map key is a little bit different. If I look, here's my map. This shows all of the North America, continent, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, and Antarctica. Okay, these are all of our continents. If I look down here at the map key, there's only one thing in my map key this time. It says rainforest. And do you notice the little box next to rainforest? You see how it's green? This map key is telling me that anywhere that I see green, that means that's where there's rainforest at. Oh, so if I look up here in Africa, look at all this green. That means Africa has rainforests there. If I look at Asia up here, they have some green. South America has lots of green. And in North America, where we live, we're kind of right in the middle up here of North America. We don't have rainforests where we live. But if you go down south, here close to South America, that's where you see most of the rainforests. Oh, do you notice Antarctica does not have any green? Do you know why they don't have rainforests? Because if you guessed it was too cold, you were right. In Antarctica, it's so cold that the rainforest, it would be too cold for the animals and the plants and the trees. So this is kind of neat because we can see where most of the rainforest is in South America. Okay, it says to circle the name of the place the map key helps you find. So down here in the map key, I'm going to circle rainforest. Because that's what we find wherever we see green, we see the rainforest. Okay, I'm going to read the top. It says, do you know where the world's rainforests are? This map shows you, and we just talked about it. The bottom says we're going to reread what is one way the layers in a rainforest are different. We're going to write it below. Oh, and I kind of already made a sentence down here. As I was reading about the layers of the rainforest, I'm going to go back to the beginning. The canopy layer, I noticed it had eagles, sloths, and monkeys there. Then when I read about the understory layer, remember we circled, it had different animals in that layer. It had frogs, birds, and snakes in the understory. And then when I read about the forest floor, it had different animals in it. It had tapirs, jaguars, beetles, anteaters. So do you notice something? That each layer of the rainforest has different animals. So I made a sentence down here that says each layer has different animals that live in it. Right, and you may copy that down. You're probably going to have to put it on pause. But don't forget to begin your sentence with a capital and end it with a period. And I had to kind of write down here because I ran out of room. But I'll give you a second to do that. Well, I hope you enjoyed our video today. And I will see you on Friday with a lesson. What's our lesson Friday is all about the seasons. Okay, have a good day. Bye.